All right, welcome to the pod, Scully. Let's go.
On, man?
Joga Talks. We got a guest on here. This is one of the few times we've had a guest so far. I know we're excited to have this guy on. When we were thinking about potential guests, we made our list. There's still more to come. Obviously, we can't disclose that, but you were high on the list, Scully. I don't know why it D-rated you so highly. And no, I'm just kidding. We were both like, we want him on the pod. We know he's got good stories. We know he's he's a funny guy. He's a talented guy. So welcome to the pod, Scully.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate
it.
Man. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Played with this guy for a couple of years, I think. 2 years. Well, 3 years of COVID, but I don't know. Kind of. Or 1 year. 1 year, and then last year doesn't really count, but he was there.
I was there.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about, I don't know, your trajectory in basketball and then whatever else, too, because obviously you don't just play basketball nowadays. So, yeah, I'm excited. To start, I think what we're going to do is before we play our blind rankings that I know everyone's very excited for, we're going to do, I'm just going to ask you about your time at SMUS. You could be a little recap because for people that don't know, obviously you went to high school in Victoria. He's a local guy, but I'll let you take it away. How was your time there and experiences? Maybe if you can tell a couple stories, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I'm getting old. That's a long time ago. So I went to SMUS like since 4th grade onwards. So like a lot of our high school basketball team, we'd known each other since like early days, like elementary school, middle school kind of range. And I played with, so we won provincials in my 12th grade year. We lost in the final in my 11th grade year to Lambrick.
Oh, damn. The Island team too.
Yeah, shout out to Ish. Not really.
It's that squad.
It was Ish
crazy.
and like Matt Neufeld.
Okay.
The Summers twins were young, but they were.
Were they both grade 12? They're older than you or the same age?
Yeah, Ish and Neufeld were a year older. Yeah.
Damn.
Did you guys play them at Bravi's or?
We played them like 7 times that year. I'm pretty sure. I think we won like 4 or 5 as well. So like we lost in the provincial final, but choke.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in the final.
So,
I didn't even know it was like
that. Yeah, we lost in the
crazy.
provincial final in 11th grade. But we had some good 12th graders for sure. But we had like a lot of returning people, so we kind of just like committed to it. But it was like G-Bag, Graham Wadley, he was on there. Jake Wilmot played at Camosun.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of other just like multi-sport
classic high school.
Good soccer players, good rugby players, whatever, that were just like good. But yeah, it was sweet. I mean, yeah, it just got it. It was honestly a joke because we were only double A.
Yeah.
We didn't have a game closer than like 25 points in provincials.
Damn.
Like we won the final by 25. I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Do you remember who you played in the final?
I think it was Delview. I think they had one guy who played Pac West. I think somewhere maybe.
Yeah,
It was nothing. You were seeing green. You
That's-
saw green and you saw them.
That's sick though. Grade 11.
I guess they were seeing blue. That's smooth. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
whatever. Grade 11, you lose in
Yeah.
the final though. Grade 12, revenge game.
Yeah,
so
so
that's kind of
That's fine.
cool story.
We don't know about banners, apparently. Yeah. Stuff
Yeah, I had it written down that you won a provincial championship. Well, you already mentioned it, so I was just gonna ask like, I don't know. I guess you already said it. It was pretty easy, so it probably didn't feel like. I probably felt good, obviously, but like probably wasn't the same, right? Like.
Yeah, no, it was honestly just like a relief to be because it was like we have to win.
Yeah.
Our grade, we won all like soccer, basketball, and rugby that year, so it was kind of like
sick.
high pressure to. Like,
Wait, you played all 3?
Just soccer, basketball.
Soccer,
crazy.
basketball.
What position you
Yeah.
playing?
Yeah.
Little left back actually.
Of course, the lefty.
Used to be
Okay.
like my main sport though, up until maybe like 7th, 8th grade. Like soccer was definitely what I liked the most.
That's dope. I didn't know.
But then I just got taller and
Of course.
kind of shifted to basketball. But
That's crazy. I'm gonna do a hot take right away because all the best basketball players are soccer players to start. I'm convinced.
That's crazy.
I don't know what
Nash.
you think.
Steve
Nash.
That's I was actually just gonna ask about that. Like, obviously we've heard the stories and such, and our junior team coach at Oak Bay, I remember he coached Steve Nash.
Oh yeah.
In elementary. But do you remember, like, was there lots of stories, or did they talk about it much, or it's kind of just like, this buddy went here, like?
It was more so because our coach, like Graham's dad, Ian Hidley, like he coached our team and he had coached Steve Nash back in the 90s whenever he was at SMUS, so there was definitely a close connection and they like are in contact consistently, been all the way through. But it was definitely kind of more, like I've only met him once, and it was just like I got a photo with him. Like,
Was that at the when he came to the UVic thing or no?
No.
Did he come to
actually,
SMUS?
He came to.
Oh,
he actually
true.
came to like a high school alumni game, which was insane. So
Wow.
I was maybe in like ninth grade or something.
Damn.
That was obviously crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, damn.
he just kind of rolled up like.
Yeah, and like some of my buddies who were a bit older, like were on the senior team that was playing the alumni's that year, and like they didn't even know, and they just step out to play, and like they're guarding Steve Nash.
That's
Oh,
wild.
he played.
He literally played.
Oh
in
my
the game.
god!
Yeah,
I thought you
insane.
meant he came to watch.
No, like I think.
He laced up.
Wait, so if
this
he's
is-
in
Yeah, I'm trying.
if
to
you were
think.
in grade 9, what year was that?
That was 2013. So 2012.
He was in the league, or am I tripping?
That's what I think.
He was still on the
Maybe
Lakers.
I could have been in 10th grade. Maybe he had just retired. Like it was.
I see what you're saying.
So this is
Because
like,
there's no-
this is
okay.
like broke back Nash.
Yeah.
Well, because I was gonna
Yeah,
say like,
yeah.
there's no way like Nash, if he was
I
actually in the
get-
league
dude.
prime, you think he'd come back and play?
No,
in
I don't
that
know.
game?
Maybe he doesn't
no,
care. I don't
dude,
know.
and it's impossible because it was in like November. It was like.
Oh,
Okay,
so
yeah.
he was retired.
So he was
It must
retired.
have been, yeah.
True.
Maybe I got the years mixed, but it was.
I don't know when he retired.
Yeah, we
I'm
gotta
gonna
do a
do it.
little
I'm gonna
fact
do a
check
check.
there. Yeah.
Dude, yo, you know what? I think it might have been the lockout year, because they started around Christmas.
Oh, what year was that?
2011.
2012.
2012.
Okay, he retired in 2015 when he was
Okay.
41.
That's crazy. So
That
it was
is crazy.
definitely the lockout year. It had to have been.
Damn.
So he was still like, it was before he fully like messed up his back. I think.
2011 NBA lockout.
Yeah.
Is that it? then?
11, 12, so 20. Yeah, so I was eighth grade.
Oh,
I was in eighth
damn.
grade, I guess.
That's crazy.
That's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
You need to get some runs in.
Was
so
he
you pull up the
getting
score.
buckles?
Honestly, he was being too nice.
He was just
He was
chilling,
like,
yeah.
I feel like it would be like us playing, or me playing against like a 5-year-old. You know,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, crazy.
I can't try.
Probably
Crazy.
get injured, bro.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's sick
That was
though.
sweet. It
That's
was
sick
sweet.
though.
That's dope. I like
Yeah.
that. Wow.
And they like Ian and him are close. Like I think he had Dirk and Steve Nash over at like one Christmas, like back in like.
Imagine.
That is the biggest flex ever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo, can we get Highlight and Nash on the pod and Dirk too? Bring him too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Bring Dirk to imagine.
We'll reconvene.
Imagine where the UVics do and Dirk is right there.
I don't think they can pay. We gotta get rid of some more desks here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's crazy though.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
That's sweet.
yeah, transitioning, I guess. Actually, we'll do blind rankings now.
yeah. Let's
For the
just
people.
let's get it. Let's get it done.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you seen any blind rankings before? Do you know how it works?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
How many are we doing?
So
10,
so
5?
so we're doing 5. We usually do
He
5.
He wants to do 10. He wants to
Yeah, he
double
wants to
up.
do
This
more.
guy's like, I want more. Hey, maybe we'll come up with another one on the spot later.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
crazy. This guy wants a 50 piece.
So basically, it's just a topic, and then I'll give you 5, none
Okay.
in order. Then you have to rank them blindly without
Okay.
knowing what comes next.
Sweet.
Bet? Ready?
Yeah.
So the topic is countries in Europe. So
Just like living it, like culture.
Living,
Yes,
culture,
everything about it,
food,
I would say.
nightlife, women,
we basically just came up with that.
beauty,
Yeah.
beauty, and you know what
We
I mean?
were
All
gonna do.
essences
We were
of
gonna.
beauty.
Okay, we were gonna do like countries in Europe, like women, like countries in Europe, like that have the best looking women, but like, nah, let's do that. Let's do that and go with these.
Nah, it all applies. I think it's all applicable. It's
All-in-one?
a total package.
Okay.
Because let's be
This
honest,
guy's
like you know what I mean? Are you gonna go somewhere that you know?
I don't know what you're trying to say, but
It's like an example. Am I gonna go to this country if I know they have terrible food? They better have something
True.
amazing.
But
if they have
yeah,
terrible
but
food,
I'd go to Sweden, just
okay, obviously you're going to Sweden. Yeah, we know this. Yo,
Okay, anyways.
I don't know about the pod.
What?
Sweden's
I need to go to Sweden. For
This
the
guy-
food,
when
for
we
the
have-
food, for the food.
When we had Dom on here, he was disrespecting Colombia.
He was.
But he was Sweden.
But yeah, just for the food, guys. Just don't get me wrong.
What do they even have in Sweden for food?
They have some nice. I don't know.
What's
bro.
a Swedish dish? Swedish
meatballs,
fish?
man.
Oh no, that's like the gummies. Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs, yeah.
Gummies.
Yeah, that's Swedish
Okay.
fish.
Okay. Anyways, okay, countries just as a whole then.
Yeah,
And we got this
total
from
culture,
because
okay.
I think on Instagram you went on a trip, like you visited a bunch of different
Yeah,
countries.
honestly, both years I was just like
Yeah, cool.
burned through all
okay.
my cash.
That's what we thought.
traveled, so.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed
Beautiful.
to do.
For sure.
If you're
First
listening.
one,
Yep.
France,
Oh,
1 through 5.
That's a heater. for
Heater,
number
but I
one,
had to
yeah.
come out the heater.
dude. I mean, Jordan's living right now, so I gotta
Yeah.
give kind of a little slack, but I'm gonna go. A lot of you wants to say 5, but I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4.
Damn.
I respect
I'm a
that.
hater.
I respect that.
You're a hater?
I
You
respect
didn't
that.
like it?
I
Okay, wait, hold up. Where'd you go?
So I went to Paris. I didn't like Paris that much, to be
Really?
honest.
I've heard that before.
Like the Eiffel Tower was like the
Yeah, of
one
course.
thing that's like you got to see
Yeah.
it, but like
Are people like rude there and stuff too? Yeah.
pretty rude,
I've
and
heard
it's just
that.
like kind of aggressive. It's a little bit dangerous too. Like
True.
there's a lot of like homeless people,
Damn.
drugs on the street and stuff. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
It's kind
But,
of
and
like
then
that,
I also saw Jordan both places he went. Like he played in I think it was Dijon first,
Yeah.
and then he went to Colmar.
Yeah.
That was way nicer for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And we
Is that,
visited Strasbourg, which is near Colmar.
Mm.
Strasbourg.
I've heard of
Did you,
Strasbourg,
did you go
yeah.
to Marseille as well, or?
I didn't go
Because I've heard Marseille is like that's the spot.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
great parts of France.
True.
But like
But
where
it's like
I
Paris
went
itself,
was
yeah.
Paris was definitely underwhelming. Like,
True.
it was
Like touristy cities like that though.
Yo, all I'm gonna say is the language matters, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I know we in Canada, and it's a official language. You know what I mean? Secondary.
yeah.
But French is so dusty, man.
Yeah.
It's so dusty.
I hate
And
it, man.
we'll get into. You played in Spain,
Yeah.
and like, you know what I mean? Spain
Yeah, we'll
Spanish
get to
is
it.
different too. It's a little
Yeah.
bit, but it's Spanish is the golden language. We have to
Oh,
admit.
okay.
We got all these languages, and then French is like at the bottom.
And then okay.
It
fair
is,
enough.
honestly.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Well,
You'd
Second
agree,
one-
you'd agree with that?
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So you got France 4 right away. Second one Ireland.
Okay, so I only went to Dublin
Okay.
for like 3 days, so I don't have like a huge gauge.
Sure,
but
sure.
Look at the shirt.
yeah,
Look at the
exactly. I had to go
shirt.
see it again.
The Guinness. He had to have the
I had to go to
toucan Guinness.
store, Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
I would say 3. There's a lot of potential in Europe, so
Yeah.
I'll put it at 3.
Okay, cool.
What? Explain that a little bit, because you think like.
Well, you was on there for 3 days though, right?
Like Ireland.
But in those 3 days, like, what made you feel like, oh, this is I enjoy this more than France per se, because
It was-
it's at 4.
Yeah, I would say it was more. I could live more like a Canadian culture lifestyle,
Mhm.
and basically like anytime you want to drink, you can go literally
I was gonna
2
say
blocks.
the beers.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I basically just went there to drink.
That's just the culture.
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. I've heard Irish people too are such a good time. Like,
Yeah, they're fun to party with
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're not gonna have a bad time in Ireland. I don't think.
True.
Crazy.
True. Okay.
Okay.
Good. So we got 4 and 3. Now next one is where you're at the most probably. So Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or were you in Spain? Like,
I was the first year I was close to Madrid, like pretty central,
That's sick.
which was sick. But the city I was in was like an hour train away, and it was like tiny, like
Oh, really?
0 tourists,
True.
all Spanish.
Oh, that's tough.
So that city was, wasn't great, but obviously Madrid was cool.
Yeah.
And then the second year I was in Granada, which is kind of
Ooh.
south, super beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, like hour bus ride from Malaga, pretty much. And Malaga is like
Nice. I'm going there in a few weeks. Yes, sir.
Let's
That's
go.
sick.
Malaga.
It's amazing, man. You're gonna have a good time.
Crazy. Andalusia. I know Andalusia is like the beautiful
Yeah.
state. You know,
Yeah.
they're in
100%.
País Vasco. Those are the two
Yeah,
places I'm going.
yeah.
to.
You're going back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
in the
going to
north.
Vasco. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So where do you put Spain?
I'm gonna put it at 2 though.
So you
I'm
got
gonna
2,
go
3,
Not at
4.
1.
That's crazy. 1-5.
And you
Split
live
is
there.
wild.
I'm ready. I'll go big or go home.
But
Go
you
for
would
perfection, man.
if you had to go live somewhere else, another country right now, like you would go live in Spain again.
I would need to commit to getting better with Spanish. Like I would want to get close to fluent with it. Like I was just doing kind of the minimal to get by, and
They speak fast on it.
yeah.
Hey,
that's the
tío,
hardest part.
tío.
That's the thing, because I understand
Tío,
Spanish.
¿cómo
I
estás?
understand
Oh,
Spanish
tío.
too, but it's too fast, bro.
Yeah, it's the speed that kills me.
Yes.
Like I can read stuff
Yeah.
easily, but
Where did you find, like, when you were visiting Spain, that it was the most difficult to understand? Because obviously they got all the crazy different accents.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, for me, it was the first year I was in like Guadalajara. The first year, like I was kind of naive.
You're in Mexico?
No, there's
Oh,
a
Guadalajara
Spanish-
is. Oh, it's Spain.
it's
Damn,
tiny,
I don't
dude.
know yet.
It's
That's
probably like 50K people. Like,
okay.
It's a really small
yeah, that's
city.
different than the Guadalajara I know.
Yeah.
That one's big and
Yeah.
scary. That one's
That is
crazy.
scary.
Shout out to GDL, my boys.
Yeah.
They'd be the dude. They're just like
It's scary.
mid traffic, like thefting cars.
Yeah,
Like
I've heard that.
GDL is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not like that. It's a different
No,
GDL.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's like almost like older population, kind of like, again, no tourists. Like I was the only white. Like I was the biggest gringo of all time in that.
Yeah.
But
But they were speaking like some
it was
or
just
what?
so fast and like just zero English. If you try to speak English there, 90% of people are like not gonna say anything back. Like,
¿Cómo?
¿Cómo?
¿Quién? ¿Cuándo? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it at 2 though. That's solid.
2,
Yeah.
3, and 4 is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but let's
Go
go.
big or go home, man. We're going for
Fourth?
perfection.
Is Norway.
I can put that at 1.
Damn.
I can put that at one happily.
So Norway was it?
Norway was really cool, man. I mean, like you said, language is important, and they're all pretty much fluent with English. So it wasn't. I didn't really feel out of place.
True.
And I was with Chris and like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
roommates, so like I kind of just like tagged onto their
That's
friend
it.
group or whatever.
Yeah.
I was there probably like 4 or 5 days.
True.
Yeah, it was
Damn.
sweet. It's honestly not like way off of Canadian culture. Like
Really?
it's relatable.
I've
for
heard,
sure.
Norway, Sweden, and where was it?
Denmark. Maybe?
Denmark. Yeah, like the Scandinavian. Like I heard that's really nice.
Well, I mean, I feel like you think about like I mean, I haven't been there, so I can't speak. But just like looking outside in, you look at like a Denmark, and you look at like Victoria. You know what I mean? Copenhagen,
Yeah.
one of those major cities,
For sure.
and Victoria, and like there's a lot of similarities, right?
For
Harbor
sure.
city, it's super clean.
For sure.
Everyone's chilling. They're riding
Yeah.
bikes around. You know what I mean?
100%.
They're jumping in the water. Everyone's smoking weed. Like
Yeah.
it's true, right? It's kind of
For
like
sure.
it's kind of similar vibes in a way.
For
It's
sure.
not like a chaotic, like stressful
exactly.
city. You know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
that, for sure. Because
Pretty
I was
good
in,
vibes.
I was in Oslo, and it was the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like coastal on the south part,
That's
just like
so
a harbor
dope.
city.
Yeah,
I've heard
Sick.
Oslo's dope.
that's
Oslo's really
amazing. I need to
cool,
go
man.
visit Chris.
Yeah,
Shout out Chris.
definitely, man. Yeah, 2 G's, man.
well, So the last one's gonna have to be 5,
yeah.
and the last one is England.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
I'm not mad. I would probably put France 5 if I could.
So-
Yo, France gets no love. Yo, you hearing this, friends? Nah,
Yeah,
shut up. I'm gonna go check
I'm
it out
never
for
going.
myself. I'm gonna go check it out for myself.
Okay, so you
So-
had what was
Yeah.
it? Norway,
Yeah,
Spain,
yeah. Ireland.
Ireland, France, and England. So what would you change?
Solid list.
I would swap England, France probably, but
And
otherwise
that's Damn,
that's on the spot.
you did well. Did well. First time blood rankings. That's solid.
Yeah, England was like.
Where'd you go in England?
Well, I was in Scotland a lot more because my
Okay.
girlfriend was living up there
Yeah.
this past year.
Nice.
So like, I spent a lot of time in Edinburgh, but
Mm.
England, I went to London like the previous spring, and it was like there was nothing bad about it. It
Yeah.
was just like it didn't really blow me away or anything.
True.
Like it was,
Yeah,
and it was really obviously fast paced.
True.
Like
yeah,
it's one of those big
city.
cities.
Yeah.
You see how this guy said nothing about the ladies. He's staying true.
Yeah, that's off the radar.
He's got a loved one. He's got a loved one.
Exactly.
He's
Or
got a-
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you can always appreciate beauty, right? You can go. I mean, you can go and look at some art.
I'm still going to Sweden.
I'm still going to Sweden.
I'm going to Sweden by myself or with someone.
Nah, I'll
Okay.
go to Sweden. I'll go to Sweden. Nah, you got to explore Sweden.
Yeah, the food and stuff and
That's
touristy
good. I know they would
places.
say, "Oh, it's so good. I like
Yes.
Sweden."
Okay.
That's a solid blind
That's a
rankings.
very-
I think he wants another one, so I'm gonna cook one up in my head, and maybe like when we're getting near the end of the pod,
Okay.
him with one again.
Like a miscellaneous, just
a little just
on the spot.
off top, off the
Off
rip.
dome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. So let's transition since we're talking about Europe.
Yeah.
You played pro in Spain for people that don't know.
2 years. Yeah.
For 2 years.
2 seasons.
Different
yeah.
team.
Two different teams.
So your first team was what was it
It was
called?
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara.
Like,
Yeah, I
the
knew
place
that. Was it the team?
All
that
right,
was
you were
purple?
living there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
called, yeah.
bet.
That's
And how was
fire, that's
that?
fire
Because you were
colors.
still kind of like injury, not injury.
Yeah, I was like, so I like had the summer to kind
Yeah.
of rehab, I guess. Like, and I honestly felt decent going in, and I felt good like all the way through the preseason.
Yeah.
Then, caution for you guys trying to play pro over there. I had a really bad ankle sprain, probably like 3 games into our regular season, and enough so like we went to the hospital to like see a doctor and get the diagnosis. I'm pretty sure they gave me like they were like a 6 to 8 week timeline for recovery, so it's just like bad ankle sprain, like it's fair. But then like, and I have the paper from the doctor and like give it to my coach or whatever, and then like 2.5 weeks, he's like, you have to play or else we're sending you home.
Damn. Yeah,
So-
I remember you said that actually.
Yeah.
That's the one time I talked to you about that. I think it was last
Yeah.
summer. You were like, "Yo, it's good, but like they're savages. Like
Yeah,
they,
it was
you know what I
pretty-
mean?
yeah.
No sympathy, hey."
I understand it. Like they pay me to fly over and they're paying me to stay and play and everything. So like, I do understand, but I was also like, it definitely kind of ruined the first year because I was just like pretty much on one leg the rest of the season.
But then you played.
Then I did, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, man, I.
So
wanted
you're
to
just
do this,
wrapping
wanted
the
to
shit
do it.
out of it like
Yeah,
every
just
day.
Taped it for 4 months straight, man. Just
Crazy.
Like, yeah.
Did that like have any long term effect, or you just had to do more rehab after? Or?
No, yeah, a little bit. It's fine for sure, but I definitely have some like residual, just like it's not
Tissue
like a full.
damage or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
like
that.
not
And
gonna
I mean,
feel
it's like, to be fair, like you said, you know, you understand it. They're bringing you over. You're the import. You know, I mean, they're paying you. They need you to play, or they expect you to play. But at the same time, like a professional club like that, like you have to use your brains.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna get the best out of a player, obviously, if you have them 100% healthy.
For sure.
So that's where the logic doesn't make sense.
For sure.
But I guess if they only had you for 1 year, maybe they didn't plan on having you for 2, or they didn't know if you wanted to stay another year.
But I think, like, because you touched on it too, like, in pro basketball, they really don't care. Because, like, there's so many people wanting to play pro basketball that they could just cut him and then get a new person the next day. Like, the amount of times I've seen that just in the summer is crazy.
For sure.
Because I've only played 2 summers. I haven't even went overseas. Yeah. And I heard overseas is even worse.
Depends on the country, but for sure it can be worse.
Yeah, because like imports, like you're supposed to be the best players, right? Like they bring you over, like they have their locals or whatever.
Yeah.
So like they'll just bring another import. You know, like it's crazy. Like obviously, like top leagues are probably way worse. Like as in like even play while you're out.
For sure.
But like I feel like the business side of it takes over the like logic side of it.
The human side.
Yeah, literally, it does. It's crazy because they're trying to make money as much money as possible.
It's
right?
a business in the end of the day. So.
That's crazy. Damn.
But it was just dumb because it's like you realize I'm not going to be healthy if I play now the whole rest of the season. If you wait 2-3 more weeks, like I could have been probably.
Help.
So could have played more, played better.
But were you guys good? Like were your team? Was it?
We were. I think we ended up 1 game out of like the. You went to like semifinals to finals for promotion to the next division.
Oh yeah.
So we were like competing for one of those.
True.
So we did. Is that obviously part of it too? Like they were like we can't afford to be losing for another 2 or 3 weeks.
Were you like one of the starters? Are you one of the main guys? Or you were higher in the rotation?
Yeah,
what
like,
did that look like?
Starter for sure. But yeah, there was some good imports. So there was a guy from Netherlands who was really good, and then a guy from Venezuela who just like played year round. Like
Venezuela.
That's it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
those guys are passionate, man.
Yeah.
Venezuela. That's crazy. What did you notice about like his game? Someone from South America. Was it
definitely
quite a bit different or
physicality? I mean, in general, South America and Europe, just the physicality for sure. Like in practice, like if you're guarding him, he was like a 4 or 5. Yeah. Like you guard him in the post, you're getting chicken with an elbow every single time.
Yeah. It's a dom spin special.
Crazy.
Yeah. Damn.
Interesting though.
He was like skilled though. He was a big, but he would like had the handle. He could shoot the 3. Like he was
interesting. Good. So how many imports were allowed in your league?
It was 3.
3. Okay, so that's pretty common. What division were you in?
It was like EBA. It was the fourth division.
Okay, so you guys would have been going up to 3.
Yeah.
And then what does that look like? Like they have youth development teams from the first league, obviously in the third, definitely.
Yeah, there were teams exactly. Even in the fourth, actually, like there was one of the Madrid teams. They had a team like a youth team in the 4th division. I think same within the South when I was there the second year. Like there was one or two like.
True.
So there's just all these like 6'8", lanky 17-year-olds.
They're going to the league. And
I mean, we've talked about on prior pods about like youth development and how Canada needs to move forward and in every aspect of that and about footy and basketball, and I think they cross paths as well because footy is the original like kind of like status quo for like youth development. I think in sports because they're so good at it, right? They know how to develop talent from a young age, and professionally, for the most part. But we talked about actually. So Jaime, who we played with, that plays at Camosin. Shout out to Jaime Palamos. He talks about that a lot. Like, it's interesting hearing his viewpoint on like club basketball in Spain, and you obviously got to experience that playing. Yeah. And it's pretty cool. Like a place like Spain, it's so like embedded and like it goes back not generations, but it's just like if a family or a kid or brothers play for a club, like they'll play like almost their whole life until they end up moving somewhere else. Like when he was telling me about some of his friends that he played with, and then now they played, the first division with Valencia or with Madrid or with whoever. Like it's like very deep rooted. Sure. It's not like a spastic environment kind of like we have in North America where it's like, okay, my best option, I'm going to keep moving around. Like I can't play here, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh or I'm going to go, you know what I mean? So did you like kind of see that when you were there?
For sure.
It's more like homegrown?
Definitely, and it's kind of how the system's set up. Like at my club, both years there's like 8-year-olds youth teams and like all the way from like 8 years old up to 18, and then you'd have the couple 18-year-olds that are like playing both their like U20 team and the pro team, you know. So it's like it just makes sense to, unless you're like NBA level, like Madrid, like Real Madrid's going to recruit you, Barcelona's going to recruit you to come to their program, but like for 99% of the players, it's just like I'll stay at home, I can live with my family, I could study at the same time if I want to, like. Yeah,
like the club system there is like, obviously, like it's a different system in general. Like we do school and then they do club. I think that's the main difference, and I think it's the same thing. At least it was in Brazil. Like it's club. Like you play club all the way through, then you reach, I don't know, 18. No, you're 20, and then you go to the pro team. Or if you're good enough, like you just keep playing. But the club system is interesting, just because like I don't know, you play since you're like 8. Some people are like, you can join whatever, obviously, but I think it's interesting. I don't know if adopting that here would be like ideal, but I think it could work.
We've had these convos, actually, me and Diego, more recently too, that, you know, it's surprising that we haven't adapted that here. I mean, obviously, like we have like a lot of work to do in a lot of areas, like for all sports. Obviously, you know, I mean, our home stays are like baseball, American football's close. That's not Canada's thing necessarily, but we got rugby. But I think adapting some of these systems from Europe is just going to help us like reach the level that we want to be to. And I think Canada has the opportunity to create some sort of environment like that. I don't think like the US basketball is too much of a business from what I've seen and from what I've heard. And obviously they just came out with that documentary about, I can't remember what it's called, but kind of about how they're like merchandising like a player and looking at them as a commodity even when they're in AAU, like all these high school kids. But I think if we adapted something like a club sort of system like Europe or South America, we could really like nurture and develop talent and keep it like local, right? Because that's all we see is people just leave to go play elsewhere. Usually they go to the States if they're that good, right? But
well, like realistically, it should be like universities should be doing that, like, because we used to have it kind of used to be like that when I was younger. Like I played like the junior bikes thing from like 13 onwards, kind of, and it was just like,
even when I was there too, it was the same thing.
Yeah, and it's, I guess it's, again, it's becoming a business thing, so there's like 10 different clubs now on the island, like crazy. You know. But
I don't think they really, I won't say that, but like, not that they don't care about the players that are playing the club programs, but I think the club programs are trying to make so much money that they don't necessarily like invest time in getting the players better. So like,
I wouldn't say so much money. We've talked about this. I think they're just trying to make money, period, and
but I think
make
the focus,
it sustainable.
I think the focus is on money and not on player development, because like, if I was like, I don't know, let's just say UVic, because we're here, and you have the junior vice program, I would want people to, like 13-year-olds to start playing, like you said, like from 13 on, and keep them here.
Exactly.
No, but the problem is like now, like in Ontario and all these places, they're adopting like the prep programs, and like it's more similar to that like club where like you're actually investing in the player, and these clubs are not investing in the player. So it's so easy for them. The best players and all the best players on the island, even in Vancouver this year, I'm still a little bit in touch with like the high school scene. They're all going to play prep. Like no exceptions.
That's definitely the thing now.
So no exceptions. I remember back in like when I played, I think it was like almost like the end of like that club, like you stay or whatever. And UVic's assistant, like Josh, like Mullen, he would coach our team, and that was the last year he coached the UVic, like the Vikes Nation program. And that was probably one of the reasons like a lot of our team was there now stayed, right? Like me, Izzy, Ethan, we all played.
Because you played for him.
We all played, Jake, we all played for the Vikes Nation program, and we just stayed, right? Like it was a good option.
Familiar.
It felt familiar. Exactly. And you're building player development, whatever. And
you're building community and family. Yeah, it's huge. I think if you look, for me, the first thing I think about when you say these clubs are focused on making money, I don't think it's that that's their only focus and that they're so money hungry. I mean, we know all these guys that have the clubs, right? You're starting your own club. I think it's just that they're trying to make it sustainable for themselves, because if we're being realistic here, you know what I mean? We're not millionaires. We're not, able to just kind of do whatever we want and have the financial freedom that whatever we do right now, we don't need to, get any income from it. We have to have some sort of income. So it's, shout out to all the coaches that devote all their time and they don't really get any income back. They just do it for the love of the game. And that's what it's all about, obviously. But if you're devoting that much time, someone's got to pay the bills. You got to live, right? So you got to understand that. And I think the main thing that we're missing here is that in the European system, or wherever else you want to use as an example, they have a first team that's funding everything from the top down, right? Because if you have like Valencia or Madrid, obviously Madrid is the biggest example, but take a smaller one, say like Getafe or someone that's not like one of the top dogs. They're still getting, you know, all the revenue from the first team, and they still make money from like, you know, the U19 team. The people go out to games, they pay money, right? You get ticket sales, jerseys. So then that trickles down and funds all these youth programs, so they don't have to like focus so much on, okay, we have to charge these kids, we have to charge these parents, and then you end up losing kids because they can't afford it, or because they're like, is it worth it for me, right? Instead of just like, okay, I'm gonna play basketball, this is my team, I'm gonna stay with them for X amount of years because it's just what we do in this town or wherever we live, right? But I think here it is more, it comes down to that. Unfortunately, it comes down to money and a couple other things as well. It becomes a little bit too political. And then you know how that works too when money's involved? It's like, why isn't my kid playing? Then parents start to get involved as well, and they're like, why am I paying for my kid not to play if he's not going to develop at all? So I think there's a lot of different kind of aspects that are affecting this. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. For sure. Like you said with the coaches, like they obviously have to make a living, right? If that's their job, like it makes sense, but the way things are set up here. But I agree, it's just, it makes more sense the way it's set up in Europe. Like no one's really questioning it. Like it's kind of just, it's pretty logical continuity from start to finish.
And now you're seeing all the European players not surpassing, but all the best players in the NBA are from where? They're not from the States anymore. Like obviously there's a bunch from the States, but like you see like Jokic or even Embiid is not for, like all those guys, Luka, like Shea, all those guys are not from the States, you know, like, and weren't like Luka and Jokic, all of them came from the league. Like Shea obviously played Americanized like system, like because he played Kentucky, whatever, played prep. But I think like you're seeing the difference now, and like I've been seeing things where like in Europe they practice like 6 times a week and play one game, whereas here, bro, they practice twice a week and then they play 4 AU games per day. And I'm watching this, I'm like, what? How are you gonna get better? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think just the systems are different.
It does translate. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know how it took this long for it to kind of like have that effect that Europeans are surpassing, you know what I mean? We'll just call it how it is, Americans. Because I think Canada is looking very strong, and we probably do follow suit to the US more than often because they're right there, and it's just how it goes. But I mean, just like you said, they practice more and they drill stuff more, and generally they're just smarter players. Obviously we play too much one-on-one basketball in North America, and I think it is catching up in the way that you know what I mean, in all years prior, I mean, Americans were just more skilled, more athletic, better one-on-one players. So it's, you know, it beat out like system basketball. But it's cool that we're getting to a point now that the game is so offensive and you can't get away with all this like hard-nosed like fouling defense basically, because you know what I mean, all the calls have changed and the reffing has changed. I think it suits Europeans more, and now they can really manipulate the game, and I think that's why it's showing. They're just like, their basketball mind is just so much more superior, and I don't know if it's due to practice, if it's due to the competition that they play back home, or the fact that AAU in the States is, you know, put all the most skilled kids on a team for 4 or 5 weeks, and then just go play one-on-one for 3-4 games every weekend, right? And don't kind of teach them system basketball, just show them how to do, you know, tween, spin move, right? Trying to get highlights. Like, I think that's probably the root of it to me. But
yeah. I mean, kind of touched on that. Like, well, 2 parts of this, I guess, but are you still going to be playing next year or the year, like, prior, if you can say? I don't know if you can say.
Yeah.
And if not, do you plan on coaching in the future? Doesn't necessarily have to be the next year, but do you plan on coaching in the future? Like, or like, what are your thoughts on both of that?
I think I'll definitely want to play. Like right now, I don't really have the itch to get back now that I've like made the decision for sure to be done with the pro stuff and like looking for work. But I'll definitely play like men's league. Like we have the Rex thing here, like casually for sure. Yeah. And then coaching, I would be happy to like help out with youth stuff probably.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's kind of very separate from like the career path that I'm hoping to go towards. Sure. So like,
no actual coaching. Yeah.
I don't think so. I'd be totally happy to like stay connected to youth programs and stuff, and like a lot of my buddies are high school teachers or like getting into coaching stuff. So I'd be happy to, you know, just pop in on their sessions once in a while, help out a little bit, but like.
Yeah.
It's not really my plan.
Kind of
for,
shifting.
Like,
Yeah.
Definitely shifting.
Would you say that you want to pursue something that's connected to the sports world potentially, or are you kind of just like basketballed out?
I think I'm pretty much basketball out, honestly. Like, I'm actually excited to play some other sports too. Like, I'm golf. Once I get some more money, golf's number one, I think.
Of course. That's the first shift for
That's
every
crazy.
basketball player, I feel like. It's crazy.
Golf's up there.
Yeah.
I was playing tennis a little bit this summer.
Tennis
too.
is fun.
Tennis is really fun.
Tennis is really fun.
Soccer.
Little
I
pickleball.
honestly might join like a men's league for soccer before I play basketball. Like, that
Like
would
intramurals or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like VISL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows if I get serious?
Man, that's the plan.
Yeah.
In a few years, I want to buy a club here with the boys.
Hell yeah.
I mean, starting like Div 4, Div 5.
Yeah.
Kind of on some, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wrexham.
Wrexham. Do a little Wrexham with the boys.
That's crazy.
Because our friend
Yeah.
group has some nasty footy players.
Yeah.
So I think it would be pure domination.
Domination.
It would be. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Okay, so
So yeah, we got you. We got our left back. Yes, sir.
We got our left
left wing back. Up and down.
Okay, so what are your plans then? Tell the people like what you want to do, or obviously like I feel like I've talked to you a little bit about it, but like tell the people like what the plan is for Jason Scully for the next few years at least.
Yeah, man. The goal, like, I'm hoping to stay either Victoria or Vancouver. Like, it was funny when I'd finished at UVic. Like, I'd lived here since I was like 6, and I was like, man, can I curse?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah. Because the thing I'm with you too. Because like sometimes because Victoria is so like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just like
it's like a little bubble.
It's just like everyone knows everybody. Like every like something happens downtown, like you know it within like 10 minutes. You know, like it's very like niche. Like everyone's together.
So initially I was like, man, I don't plan on coming back to the West Coast at least first. Like I want to after the basketball, maybe I go to Toronto or Montreal, whoever, Calgary maybe. But it's crazy. Like after I left, like after Christmas time probably, by being in Spain, I was like, wow, I actually would. I want to be back.
I'm the same way. That's what I do in the summer. Like every summer I went, I'm like, I'm always like, I need to get out of this place like as soon as possible. Yeah. And then both summers, I'm like halfway through, and I'm like, damn, I need to live in Victoria. Like it's just too nice. Like everything about this place is just
too
great,
nice.
You know, like, for sure.
Well, what was I'm curious because that's the classic that happens to everybody when they leave the island fever. But what was the main thing like when you left? Say when you were in Spain. When you're in GDL, what were you like, oh man, I miss this?
Well, definitely, I mean, that's another thing about going to play pro, like, it's a pretty quiet, lonely, like, I had my friends from the team, especially being in a city like that, like, I'm not meeting people on the street that I'm going to be friends with, like, it was me, this other good Dutch guy who could speak English well, and it was kind of just us two that first year, so, obviously the friends and family, like, that's the biggest thing, but I think just, like, the culture is pretty unique here, like, it's kind of got its own pace, like, it's just slower pace. That's just what I'm used to, and I like that. So that's the plan. I'm hoping Victoria, Vancouver is like what I'm limiting it to, because at least Vancouver, like I'm a ferry right away. Like it's easy to come back for sure. But yeah, I'm hoping to get into like environmental engineering stuff. Like that was kind of my master's. What I studied for my master's.
Yeah, you smart.
Bro,
Fake smart. This
guy was doing engineering while playing.
That was it. That's something we were talking about too.
That was my next one because you mentioned I was gonna go from your work what you're trying to do, and I was gonna mention that you graduated with a degree, like it was engineering degree. Yeah. And then you did a master's in environmental engineering.
It was called industrial ecology, but yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So since you're talking to the wrong guy, so. Obviously, I know what engineering. Obviously, I know what engineering degree is. Yeah. But what did you say? Industrial
ecology.
Industrial ecology. Yeah. So what is that like? What does that entail? Like, what did you do for your master?
So it's a super niche. Like, not many people know about it really, but like it's new. Like, it's kind of working on the most sustainable way to have like industrial activities interconnect. If you know what I mean. So it's like the recycling is a good example. Like circular economy is a term where it's just like reusing and sharing energy sources, stuff like that.
True. So what's like the difference? Maybe I'm wrong, but I know Ethan does environmental studies.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I've heard him talk about a lot of stuff too, like all the time. Yeah. So what's the difference between that and like, so you just focus on the industrial side?
That would be my master's, but I'm not really limiting myself to that. That's just like the program I took, but. Yeah, there's a lot of overlaps, honestly.
So basically, you're just trying to, like, in a simpler term, you're just trying to, like, make the environment a better, like
Exactly.
make the environment better. Like
yeah, let's just control climate
Yeah,
change.
okay.
Basically. Like
Okay,
that's the
bet,
bottom
bet.
line.
Okay,
So
sweet. That's what I
This
got.
man is a hero. Yeah, stop playing basketball, man. We need you elsewhere. I didn't know this.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, engineering
some,
degree.
some people are studying like how to make Play-Doh figurines.
And for people that don't know, why you're a varsity athlete to
I was
take
kidding.
engineering, at least for me, is crazy. But
It was
like
just-
this guy, yeah,
But I also I died, man. Like I
Full
was
respect, man.
Like,
yeah, you were just studying.
like my first year especially, you just like hit
Really?
me like a bus.
Yeah.
Like that's partially why I redshirted. Like I just could not
True.
balance like basketball.
And
How did you
Like,
find the balance then once you were like full tilt in it?
It was okay. Like I took an extra year to finish. Like I
Yeah.
took a slightly lower course load, and I never had a summer off. Like I was either doing an internship or taking
Mhm.
courses basically.
Yeah.
So I figured it out, but it definitely just
yeah.
I'm sure that was also partially why I hurt my back in
True.
that last year because I was just
always like
it's
studying and
five,
stuff like that.
and just like the stress, man. I was basically stressed for like 5 years, 6
That's
years
crazy.
straight. Like,
Yeah, I think like what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh.
You're
No,
stressed, man.
forgot what I was gonna say.
He's
I was
stressed
stressed
out
too.
right now.
I
He's like,
completely
God
forgot
damn,
what
this
I was
guy's
gonna
like,
say. Oh no,
I
I
was
was
a
gonna say-
psychologist.
I was
I
gonna
gotta
say
turn
because
up.
for me it was like that, but like I don't know why, but my first year was light years harder than
Yeah.
I'm going to my 5th year or
Yeah.
6th year or whatever, my 5th year of school,
Uh-huh.
but light years harder than any other year I've done. I don't know how it was for
Yeah.
you, but like those first year courses are killers because like you see
Yeah.
like whatever 101 and you're like, oh cool, like I'm getting into whatever, and then you have to write like 7 papers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, no, like.
So do you think the workload is actually
I think it's
significantly
easier.
bigger, or do you think it's just you trying to adjust to
It
the rhythms?
might be a bit of
I'm
both?
sure it's a bit of both.
Because obviously, like, I don't think college and university is that crazy of a jump. Because I swear in high school they always like try to scare you and they tell you like, oh, it's a big jump, you gotta be ready, whatever. And then you come and it's like, oh, cool, like it's like yes,
Yeah.
obviously might be a bit harder depending on the degree. Because obviously my degree is not even compared to his degree. Like my degree, I didn't have to do whatever math he had to do. But
Yeah.
I think like my first year courses maybe because of the adjustment and because I just think the workload is like more. I don't know.
It
Maybe
is,
it's just
yeah.
my program, but
No,
my 3rd and 4th years were so much more like
I agree.
I don't know. It was just easier than my first year for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but
Yeah.
I probably would agree that
That's
the
crazy.
workload was higher.
Yeah.
Obviously, the concepts got more
Yes,
difficult,
concepts,
got more
yes.
technical and stuff, but like
But once you get into it, you understand it. Like you know,
exactly, you got the background.
maybe that's
for
it too.
So actually, I'm interested now. What's out of the co-ops you did? What was like the most interesting for you?
I would say my last one I worked at UVic like as a research assistant in one of the lab. Well, it was during COVID, so I was working from home like on my computer, but it was like connected with one of the labs. And yeah, this guy that was one of my profs like earlier in the year, he was interested in this like alternative fuel basically, which would be like lower emission pretty much. And he was hoping to create like a synthesis process in his lab, like a lab scale synthesis process to make this fuel. So I basically just spent the summer like doing simulations on this software that he sent me and just like trying to figure out what to put in there and
How you would make it?
what's the most
Right.
efficient way to make it. Obviously I don't know what I'm doing really.
Yeah.
So I put something together. Obviously it was just interesting to kind of
Test
work
it.
like it was related to I was just about to start my master's the next year, so it was like kind of in that field that I was
Yeah.
going to be studying. So
That's super cool.
it
It's
was
the
Wow.
point of a co-op, right? Like you're trying
That's,
to
yeah, that one
figure
was
it out.
good, and then the other 3 were like I really didn't enjoy them that much. Like 2 of them I was with a company in Calgary, just like doing typical like.
Was it like oil and gas or
It was
no?
oil and
Oil and
gas,
gas,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
I
Alberta.
mean, Alberta,
They're
baby.
everywhere.
Come on now.
I mean,
Alberta.
that's the thing though, is like it's easy to point fingers and be like, those are the bad guys. And I mean, right, like they are contributing to stuff that hurts the environment. But at the same time, like you kind of need to step in. Like I'm saying, someone has to step in to make sure that they do it the safest way possible.
Yeah.
So I would imagine like if
Yeah.
you would take a role at an oil and gas company, you would just be making sure that like you're mitigating the amount of
Exactly.
damage you're doing to the environment, right?
Exactly. That's the bottom line. It's like obviously Alberta's economy is super dependent on the oil and gas industry, so like you can never go in and say that this has to all this is like the Canadian government just say you got to stop producing oil, like the whole that's never gonna happen. So exactly, it's about finding solutions to kind of minimize emissions and maybe slowly transition. Maybe they can invest in renewable energy sources and
Right.
stuff like that, and just slowly over
Yeah.
time, work
That's
towards
cool.
a better solution. Yeah.
That's very dope.
It's way too advanced for me.
Yeah.
I don't do all that.
That's
Yeah,
very
it's
interesting. That's interesting,
That's so
man. That's
interesting,
interesting.
bro. I was just
It is.
fascinated there. I was just like,
No,
man,
shut
like,
up. No, I'm serious. I'm serious, man.
too, bro. Because I
He's
don't.
making the face, man.
I'm not. I promise, bro. I promise. On everything I love, that's probably very like for me to hear, because I don't talk about that
You don't
stuff
talk about
ever.
that stuff,
So then
right.
like to hear someone talk about it, it's actually like very cool, and like just
Right.
to understand a little bit of like, because every time like say I read something online, I'm like alternative fuel, whatever. I'm never gonna like actually gonna read it.
Yeah,
But like if I'm
sure.
talking to someone that like is interested in that, try to pursue
Right.
it, is actually very
Right.
cool.
I
like
mean, yeah. For me, I don't talk about this stuff in my day to day
Yeah.
either, but I pretend that I could, and I
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and I like to have these conversations. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all our responsibility, especially as young people, to kind of figure out how we're going to solve some of these problems, right?
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it is fair that we shoulder all of the world's problems, but I think
Yeah.
it's in the back of your head.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, man, like, all jokes aside, like, people like you're taking on like a big task, and like
Yeah.
you're really like a hero, because you could go into any industry. No, it's true. You could go into any industry. You had to pay to go to school. I mean, it's not like in other kind of countries or places where it's like, okay, just take whatever schooling and you can go be a teacher, you can go be this. You chose to do this, so it's very commendable, man. And yeah, I hope you can do some cool stuff with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So for work, is it more like you mentioned, like is like research stuff, or like obviously you're trying to find ways to make it better? So
Yeah.
because I'm trying to think, like obviously like other professions, like if you study to be a teacher, obviously it's like the role's so set.
Yeah.
Is for your like, I guess for work, is it that like set, or is it more like you're like doing not lab experience, but like you're trying to figure out ways, like, and it's more like
Yeah.
loose
Yeah.
work, you know what I mean?
For sure. There's not like one
Yeah,
position I'm
okay.
definitely looking for. Like,
Exactly.
There's going to be sustainability departments at a lot
Yeah.
of companies, soon probably
Okay.
all companies.
Yeah.
So
And then you're trying to figure it out.
I could be doing a lot of different things.
True.
Which is good for me because I've always struggled with like, I've never had one thing where I'm like set on this is what I want to
You
do.
like doing a bunch of things. I like that.
I feel like I can do different things.
Right.
True.
decent,
And if you
then,
don't, yeah, and if you don't find work on that, what would you do? It could be like anything. It could be like bartending or whatever. Like what would you do? I'm just curious.
I'm getting close, bro. I've been looking for it.
Nah, this guy's
Nah,
too
he'll
smart.
find it, he'll
Nah,
find
he
it, he'll
can-
find
no, he won't say
But let's just say
that. He'll say
hypothetically
that.
speaking,
Hypothetically.
you don't find anything.
That's a
I'm
good
interested to
question,
see
yeah.
like, I don't know, what would you
Yeah, what industry
work?
would you
I don't
go
know.
to?
But
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, the work in the restaurants is really easy. Like I did that
because
last
you've done it
summer.
before, yeah.
Shout out to the local.
Shout out to the local, man. Yeah, Roger, where you at?
But you were like, what was it? Bartending? Was it?
I was
waiter?
actually just like bar assistant. Like
Bar
I was,
assistant, cool.
Yeah, I was just like
Okay.
doing kind of like the middle jobs
Dope.
between bartending and serving and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So I like, if we're being like realistic in my
Yeah.
situation, like I don't
Okay.
have work in a month from now, and
Yeah.
there's no basketball camps to
Yeah.
coach. Like, I'd probably go back there
True.
just to make it.
It's too easy, man. The industry sucks you back in.
Makes
Sucks
sense.
you- I can
This
speak
guy
from
always
experience.
finds a restaurant to work
It's,
at. That's
it's
funny.
too easy. It's a social aspect too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
met
a
a lot of
social
people.
guy. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nice to go and
Uh-huh.
have a little community.
For sure.
Yeah,
you
that's
make a
it.
lot of new friends for
Right?
sure.
Yeah, that's dope.
That is dope. I have a little niche question
I have
for you
one more
too.
Nice.
Obviously, you said that. Say your title one more time for the people in the back.
My study. Like,
Your master's degree. Your master's degree was in
Industrial
Mr.
ecology.
Scully,
My
bucket
master's-
getter.
My master's industrial ecology and undergrad in engineering. Yeah.
So I know that's like not directly.
Don't do it.
Don't say that. I know it's not directly related, but myself, I'm dipping my toes in the real estate world
Oh yeah.
in Mexico,
Nice.
and something that really interests me is like incorporating sustainable building
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, just like ecology and greenery and green spaces
Yeah.
into structures.
Yeah.
And I know that's a whole nother avenue, but like, would you ever
Yeah.
consider kind of getting into that world?
100%. Yeah. That's definitely.
He's going to
It's
Mexico
an
to work with
area.
Eddie. So
Hey,
that was the
the
question.
invite is
He literally
open.
he said all that
The
just to
invite
ask Gary, you couldn't work for
The
me.
invite is open. No, not work for me. I work for him. This guy's.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
fair,
a
that's
master's
fair.
degree.
Work
I
together,
know
work
people,
together.
but I don't got a master's degree.
That's sick.
crazy.
That would be a crazy collab though if you guys like.
I mean, yeah. If you're ever interested in that world, you know what I mean.
For sure.
All
Connect.
seriousness, you come down there and you could really. I could show you about like kind of the projects that are getting built, and there's a lot of room for that down there because there's actually a lot of people that care about the environment.
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah.
And it, you know what I mean, a lot of people with money, and they don't want to just build a huge structure and just kind of like put their stain on the place. They want to like incorporate into the area, and there's a lot of like obviously like eco lodges being built, and you know what I mean, hotels or hostels or restaurants that are incorporated into like a little oasis or a little like biome kind of thing, like, you know what I mean, rather than just kind of wipe stuff out like we used to do when we would build a structure. You want to incorporate into it. I think that's so cool.
For sure.
And I think it's just way doper, like for experience wise, right?
100%.
Like if I go to a coffee shop and it's like you're like in a forest or a jungle, you know what I mean, it doesn't have to replace it. So yeah, it's really dope.
Sweet.
Stuff going on
Okay.
down there.
We're near the end of the pod, but I got two more things, I think.
Okay.
One, kind of backtracking, and these will be quick. Just do a quick time. For the people that don't know, this guy, I don't know the year, but I'm gonna say the year, and I'm just gonna guess it. If I'm wrong, correct me. He's a Canada West champion, right? We're bringing it back to his UVic years. Canada West champ in, it was your last year, so 2021, 2022.
I think so.
Right? Because the COVID, So 2021, 2022, Canada West champion. And you were dressing at Canada West, weren't you? No? Nationals?
National.
Yeah, still counts. Still a Canada West champ.
I played one game, or like only like.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
At the time, it was ridiculous.
And then he also led, I don't know if it's Canada West or U Sports, but he led, it was a Canada West or U Sports? I think it was Canada West for sure, but maybe the country in 3-point percentage in 2019. Right? My first year? The year before.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think you're right. The year before I came. Yeah. So he led Canada West, maybe the country in 3-point percentage, and if I'm not wrong, it was 43%, 42%.
Like 48.
48%.
That year, I think.
Damn.
I think with you.
What?
It was 47.
Oh, okay.
When I played with you, it might have been
Yo,
60.
yeah. So he just that was just a quick mention. But what was your? I need one. I have one memory. I have one distinct memory of when you were playing with me, because obviously it was only 2 years. But what was your favorite moment wearing a UVic jersey in a game?
Ooh, that's tough, man. Probably like I can say a whole game. Is that cool?
Yeah.
I would say when it was your first year.
Yeah, 2019.
And we, like all my first years, we'd been losing to UBC all but like one game. And Matt just like
that game at
smoked
UBC.
crack for the game and had like 45.
It was crazy.
And we were at UBC.
That was
and, like,
so cool.
We won like.
That was that was the start of like what we're doing now.
I agree.
I think that was like obviously that whole year, but like just like because obviously you guys haven't beat them so long. Like I've watched you guys whatever, and like beating them there was just,
so you actually hadn't beat them since you had been playing at UVic.
If anything, it was like one time. Like I had lost to them, I guess like 6 to 8 times.
Because we play them twice every year.
Yeah. And they were just they get on the court and they're just dogging you guys. They just had your number.
For my first 2 years for sure. Like we had we were in the same tier. Like they had Connor Morgan. Still,
of course.
Basically
that was cool.
NBA player. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good memory.
And then I think the year before Diego came, we were a little closer. Like it was probably competitive games. But we didn't beat him. We lost both. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that was kind of like a microcosm of that season.
Yeah.
Like that was the big turning point for us. Like all my years before you came, we were like near 500, like 12 and 8, 10 and 10.
I remember watching all of them. Yeah.
It was just like we were fine, but
losing in the play-in.
Making the playoffs, we were just not that good. So it was cool that like I'm definitely always like it's been tough to accept me missing my last year for sure, but I do like have some happiness thinking that like my last healthy year, like we kind of started to change momentum for sure.
That was for sure the year that you could tell the change started. Yeah. My favorite
Diego
memory.
felt that. He felt that. He started. You know what I mean? He's like, let's get this train going.
For sure, my friend. And we lost in the quarterfinals and everything, but I think it was just the culture changing and everything changing.
We were like all injured too.
Yeah,
Don
exactly.
broke his foot.
Yes.
Matt was injured.
Yeah, it was crazy.
My back was starting to act up. Like,
It was, I don't know if you remember this. My favorite memory by far, at UNBC. Oh my God! I'm sorry. I'm gonna put him on blast, but like, shout out Chris Ross. But like, I just remember I have a video. I've watched the video the other day because I don't know what I was watching. I don't know if I was trying to like do research on you before this or something.
Sure, yeah.
But I just remember on the left side he came off the screen and he did a little snatch back, completely dripped, bro. Bro fell on his knees. It was crazy, and then he had if I remember Scully playing, that's the one memory I remember. Right in front of our bench, I remember our bench playing.
You hit a little crossover back.
I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
right. The best part is the bench, dude. Like,
Yes.
You've seen, I think the video is somewhere. Like,
Somewhere.
On Instagram.
I think that's what it was.
I think it's on Instagram. By far the best part is the bench because like Matt going crazy, you're running around.
I think.
And then at the end, Bo was like, God, he's like trying
That's
to grab
special.
you guys.
Yeah, of course. We couldn't even celebrate
Because we're up like a decent amount.
Of course,
we're up like 15.
I gotta be
20,
gentlemen, right?
Yeah, but yeah, that was funny. That was my first year.
Yeah,
And I think if I'm not wrong, we lost the first game that year to UMBC.
Oh, it was
and then that was the second game, and we should have never have lost.
Oh no.
So I think that was also, I don't know, it was just a good memory. That's the only when I remember you playing. That was like one of the only memories I remember, which is pretty sick.
Sweet, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy.
Last thing, I just want you to touch on it quick, and you just give me one thing. Okay. So quick, another quick one.
Okay.
What was a different? Biggest difference between Europe and Canada, and you can say Spain or Canada, because obviously you were in Spain for that long. But like, what's like the biggest? What's like the biggest difference that you were like? And it could be anything: culture, food. It could be whatever you want. Basketball.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I would say. Well, Spain is like almost a 180. Well, in a lot of aspects, it's almost like a 180 from Canada. Like prices. First of all, everything was so cheap. Like that one jumps out. Like I saved so much. Like
that's interesting. Yeah.
Well,
here's crazy.
Here's getting ridiculous. But the weather too. I mean, yeah, definitely in the summers for sure. Like in the spring, summers it got warmer.
Yeah.
But then I would say that like the pace was kind of like Spain's pretty laid back. Yeah. But then I would say Spain, probably the biggest difference was Spain was like such a bubble. Like there was like no outside culture influence really. Like they're just really proud to be Spanish.
That's sick.
A good thing. Yeah, like it's
good culture. Yeah,
it's good to be proud. So
okay.
I feel like we get influenced from with the internet and everything. We're influenced all around the world, and Spain was really like.
They were locked in.
They were locked in. Man.
They were locked in.
That's amazing.
They were locked in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to wrap it, I know you said the last thing, but I said that we got to run another blind rankings
off the dome.
So you sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. You played the 2 most of your career, or 2, 3, 1? What did you play?
Occasional 3. Yeah, 2, 3, and then if we're going small, I played 4 a little bit.
Oh, okay. 2, 3. Get big. Okay. So in that vein, we're gonna do shooting guards. Best shooting guards of all time.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Nice.
So 1 is best, 5 is,
Another blind?
This is blind.
Oh,
This is blind, okay?
To finish it up.
Nice.
Okay, to finish it off.
Sure.
All right, we're going to start off with the Indiana Pacer, Reggie Miller.
Ooh. I will go 3.
3.
Is
that guy, you watch clips of him? Because obviously he wasn't really in our era, but he's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend for sure. He has so many like iconic playoff moments, I feel like.
Such an animated player.
Yeah.
So exciting to watch. So exciting to watch.
3, yeah.
3 is solid. To put him in the middle of the pack. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one is like one of my goats. Actually, why I started watching basketball for real.
Okay.
Shout out to the Heat, Dwayne Wade.
Oh.
The Flash.
Dude, he was my favorite player.
He was your favorite.
Like when I
Come on, man. That's my guy. My guy.
Dude, that was
splitting the screens.
Like I was like a big time LeBron hater when I was young, when he was still in the Cavs.
Yeah.
Just because I liked D-Wade that much. I was like, they were always going head to head. I'm like, no, that's the Heat.
And
then when LeBron went to the Heat, then I became a huge, and now I'm like the biggest LeBron Glazer.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. You can say it. That's me, bro. That's the GOAT.
Because funny for me, I'm a huge LeBron fan, like, and especially I think I take him over Jordan, whatever. That's another debate. But when I first started watching basketball for real, it was that Dwayne Wade Heat, kind of like a couple years after the Shaq chip.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? All the supporting cast back then, you know what I mean? Right before LeBron got there.
Oh,
I loved that Heat team. They're just
Michael
dogs.
Beasley
Michael Beasley, the Juice Man, Jermaine O'Neal,
Mike Miller.
Udonis, you gotta give the flowers to Udonis, man.
Yeah, that's
crazy. Okay, so where are you putting him?
I think I put him 1, man.
Put him 1. That's right. I respect that.
There's only 2 names like that are like
okay.
maybe by the book better.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I'm gonna put him 1.
I like that.
enough.
I
Okay, I
like
like
that.
that.
One.
Okay, we're gonna go a little bit more current with this one.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? You gotta respect him because he's a lefty like you. The beard, James Harden.
Yeah, it gotta be two.
He's gotta be two.
I can't put
Okay.
him below Reggie Miller. Like I would definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that point.
I'm actually a huge James Harden fan too. Probably left hand is a big part of it too, but like
I am too. Bro.
I think he's
Did you ever try to incorporate
He's
that
hated on
skip,
too
the
much.
skip hop,
No.
step back, or no?
not really. Dude, I've never
It's
really been like a
off the
on
dribble.
ball player.
Yeah.
Like I'm always I think with my personality and everything, I'm just more of like I'm supposed to be a role player.
I guess.
Like I'm just good at like fitting in, filling in the gaps. You know, like that's kind of who I am. So I've never really been the dribble guy.
But if
Just
you're
stand-
playing ones though,
I'll let Diego go. I'll just stand in the corner.
if you're playing ones though, you pull out some of that.
Yeah, sure. I can try.
Nah, he's
Yeah.
simple. He's simple with
He's
it.
simple with
He
it.
doesn't.
He's
Yeah,
simple.
he's
Just
actually
jab,
he's
just
definitely
jab,
Just
shoot.
Oh yeah,
jab,
bro. Like if he could, he would jab and shoot like the whole fucking. Every time he's playing on one, you up to 11, he'll shoot every shot.
That's all
like
you
that,
need.
You know,
He's tired.
simple.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
that's tough. We got
Friday, though.
half man, half amazing. Vince Carter.
Oh, that's tough. That I got 4. I'll put it at 4, but I'm also again. You're picking like some of my favorite players.
I mean, that's the thing is I call myself a 2 as well, and
Yeah.
that's all my favorite players are
Yeah.
2s. So
Yeah.
it's a real tough one because I think those are
VC.
some of the best players
I think
right?
VC had one of the best highlight reels of
ever.
like,
If we're talking dunking, obviously,
best
but
best in-game dunker, like aesthetically, the way it looks, insane.
insane floater. And it's funny because obviously everyone knows him for that, but then if you look at everything else, like stats wise, you know what I mean?
Oh,
He's in
yeah.
the top all time.
Yeah, and he had like
points.
40% 3-point shooting years.
Crazy,
too, like,
crazy. And that's tough that you put him 4
Yeah, I got it. I can't. No way. I'm putting
because
him
the last
at
one is
5.
T Mac.
Oh.
That's a really tough
That's
list,
crazy,
though.
'cause,
It's a
yeah,
really
Reggie
tough
Miller
list.
had to be 5 there, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then who do you put 4?
I would go. Okay, it would probably go D Wade.
Still
I
keep
should
James
go
at
Hard-
2?
I think yeah, I think so. Probably his peak was the highest out of all those
Yeah.
guys. So I go Harden 2.
I just realized I didn't put Kobe on that list. Nah, that would have thrown a curveball,
Yeah.
though. That's a mad curveball. He's
Well,
obviously.
you could have said Jordan too. I was waiting for
Yeah,
Jordan.
I was waiting for Jordan.
Nah,
Yeah,
we don't
me
need
too.
to enter those guys into the
Oh,
chat.
okay,
They
okay.
can stay out.
Okay.
I would struggle between T Mac and Vince Carter though.
I think they're
actually
very
hard.
similar.
That's hard.
They're
That's
really
hard.
close.
I think they're very.
That's
similar.
hard. And for me, Vince is actually for me it's D Wade and Vince. Those are my favorites.
Sure,
And
yeah.
if I think if T Mac would have played his whole career,
Yeah.
he was such a dog and like
Yeah.
his energy and aura.
Yeah.
Vince was more like mean mug
Yeah.
and T Mac was more like in your face.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly that speaks to me more. I think if
Yeah.
T Mac would have played his whole career, he would have been my guy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
for
I
real,
agree.
because he just quit
That's so
early, right?
sad.
He was done.
Yeah, his knees. I feel like
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah,
injuries he had, he just gave out. But
Him and AI are the two that are like,
love it.
damn.
He did it. He did well again.
He did well.
Respect.
So you're just switching Reggie down.
Reggie goes, yeah, sure. And probably
Maybe
BC 3, T Mac 4, but they're kind of like honestly they're tied.
That's solid. I like that. I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
That's
Okay,
sick.
crazy.
All right, man. I honestly that was probably one of my favorite pods that we filmed.
honestly,
That was
sick,
sick. I appreciate you coming to the pod.
Yeah.
Usually, what we say to all our guests is that hopefully we'll get you back on it after
You
I don't know
bet.
3 years. Talk about whatever you're doing for work.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit of basketball if you're still involved, still playing, whatever, and then just do a
Yeah.
little recap, and then we'll watch
Oh,
this
yeah.
one back. Say it again, whatever. So if you're down for it,
Yeah.
we'd love to have you back. I had fun. I don't know
That's
about
so
you.
much fun, man.
Yeah.
I hope we have you back, and maybe you'll be, you know what I mean, making green structures in Mexico.
Hey, who knows?
Yay! Who knows, man? You're gonna
Yeah.
be bettering the world.
Yeah.
Jason Scully, remember
That's
that
the
name.
Remember the name, Jason Scully. Appreciate
man,
you guys.
appreciate having
I
you
don't
on
know,
here, man.
don't know what
Thank
episode
you.
it's gonna be, but appreciate having Jason Scully.
You bet, man.
Go
Let's
watch all of our Joga talks on
Lock in.
Instagram,
Lock
TikTok,
in.
Spotify. I'm missing one.
YouTube.
Go watch it. Go comment. Let me know what you guys think.
Go comments. Go comments.
Go
Go
comments.
comment on that shit. Let's
Go comments.
man.
Go comments.
comments. All right.
Yeah, let us
Scully
know.
episode is a wrap.
Again, let us know all the topics you guys want to know. You guys want to talk about anything or guests, or if you want to hop on.
What did you think
yeah.
of those buying rankings?
Another episode
Yeah.
done. Joga
Let
talks.
us know.
Appreciate you guys.
It's a wrap.
Peace.